Welcome back. I traveled halfway around the world over the past few days, and I was going to take a break this weekend, but considering the rocky markets, I wanted to make sure it got addressed. Before we get into the HBAR market, I wanted to give an update on the commercial bank-issued yuan and some other news. A few weeks ago, we ran a story that Hedera Governing Council member Shinhan Bank was planning on issuing a yuan-based stablecoin built on Hedera, as well as build a metaverse. Here's an excerpt from that video. Also of note is this story seems to have been picked up by some Korean reporters who happened to overhear Shinhan's plans. It wasn't part of an official press release, which means only the Korean market and nosy Hederians realize this new stablecoin is on the way. We can expect an official announcement in the weeks to come from both Shinhan and Hedera, and that's when crypto media outlets like CoinDesk and Cointelegraph and possibly traditional media outlets like CNBC and Bloomberg will run this story. So essentially this is a loosely held secret, and much of the crypto market will be blindsided. So what's notable about this week is we actually got that press release, and it was covered by Cointelegraph, Yahoo Finance, Business Insider, and Hedera CEO Mance Harmon did an interview with CoinDesk. We also found out another Hedera Council member, Standard Bank out of South Africa, is involved, and they plan on using the stablecoin for international remittances with other partner banks. With who knows how many institutions involved, and Shinhan not doing this in isolation, the potential is huge. HBAR jumped 8% on the news, proving that the market had not priced in this information. Granted, those gains have been given up in the latest crypto crash. But I bring all this up to highlight that what Hederians knew for weeks surprised the rest of the market. I think this goes for a lot of things that Hederians take for granted, all the way up to how unique and revolutionary Hedera is in the marketplace. I also find it interesting that Hedera is cutting into markets that have established DLT networks that are purely focused on those markets. In this case, we have cross-border payments, and we have several examples of supply chain use cases, including Atma.io and Entrust. The Creators Galaxy Foundation has announced that on December 8th at 10 a.m. Eastern, 40 million Calaxy tokens will be available for public sale. These tokens are built using the Hedera token service. 30 million Calaxy tokens will be available to non-US persons, and separately 10 million tokens will be available to US accredited investors. The Calaxy Protocol token is the native token used to power the Creators Galaxy ecosystem, and provides greater distribution of protocol governance within a decentralized and permissionless ecosystem. The tokens will be sold for 50 cents, or 60 cents for a more rapid distribution schedule. For more information, I'll include a link in the description. Emilia Clarke issued some NFTs to raise money for SameU, a nonprofit focused on treatment of brain injuries and stroke recovery. Some were built on Ethereum, but one of the series was built on Hedera. Called Restoration, this NFT raises money for a worthy cause, and automatically enters the owners in a drawing to win SameU swag or a Game of Thrones collectible dragon egg signed by Amelia herself. The auctions for these NFTs are running now and won't end until December 13th. I'll leave the link in the description. Hedera held their now quarterly town hall on Monday, November 30th. They covered Hedera network effects, their relationship with Immutable Holdings, as well as the HBAR Foundation, the Shinhan stablecoin, and many other topics. Here's a clip of Lehman discussing his vision of the metaverse.
So this is what Hedera has been pushing for the entire time. We're building the foundation for this sort of thing. If you're going to do this, what you'll end up with is small, maybe ad hoc networks of computers. They're talking to each other and cooperating. And then when they have things that they want to commemorate permanently, they can use HCS to record it forever, or they can use HCS to even power them. They can be an AppNet. This is how shared worlds work. And so then what you can do is you can play games or whatever in your shared world, but you can have things of value within your shared world. And the things of value could be tokens. So our token service works. So you have our consensus service and our token service can be useful for this. And if you want to get really fancy, you can even use the smart contracts with it. Or you can just do a private network, a hashgraph network that just does things on its own. You reach your own consensus. And then occasionally when you want to do something with these bigger assets, these tokens or whatever, then you reach out to Hedera and do it. So you can run it as an AppNet where everything is running through Hedera, or you can do it as a separate hashgraph network and then just occasionally talk to Hedera and use HCS or HTS to do your actions on Hedera. This is the idea. And so what would you do? Well, you could create things, you could play games, you could have a stock market, you could have a Wikipedia. There's all sorts of things you could do in these shared worlds. One of the things you can do in these shared worlds is we all put on VR goggles and we get to explore a three-dimensional world that we share. Maybe that's what metaverse means. I'm not actually sure what metaverse means. Everyone seems to have a different definition. But VR is very cool. Being able to do things online is very cool. Being able to do things online where no single company can control it is very cool. Some people do not have that as part of their definition of metaverse, but I think that's the way the metaverse ought to work, is that maybe a company you're paying to host it on their servers in some sense, but they can't steal your assets because your assets are NFTs that are coined on Hedera. And so you're just using this other company to help you do your 3D world. But the real things of value are trustworthy. And even the rules of the game itself can be made trustworthy if you're using an AppNet using HCS, or if you're frequently sending things. You can imagine a first-person shooter where you're constantly getting points and constantly recording those points. And so once they're recorded into Hedera, they're there forever. There's all sorts of ways that you can do this. So metaverse, I'm not sure what it means. Maybe it means VR. Maybe it means some of the vision of being able to share information across different platforms. But my vision of shared worlds is bigger, and the metaverse is part of it.
As of recording, HBAR is bouncing between 26 and 27 cents. I guess I should have mentioned this a while ago. Technical analysis is certainly important, but HBAR is also dependent on the rest of the crypto market, which in turn is influenced by some powerful undercurrents in the broader financial markets. If Bitcoin drops 20% in a few hours, as it did on Saturday morning, there isn't any support a few percent under HBAR's price that's going to hold up. Similarly, if there's a major positive catalyst, for example, a hypothetical Google use case or PayPal joining the council, local resistance on the chart is not going to prevent a run. Last week we discussed that the crypto market was holding with the 2017 trend. This latest move isn't exactly aligned with past bull markets, but the drop in the spring raised serious questions as well. The CEO of Real Vision, Raoul Pal, has been saying for a while to expect a max pain drop in December, only to see a resumption of a lengthened bull market in the new year. Not that we ever really know what the market's going to do, but the drop has added some short to medium-term uncertainty for sure. But this is why we focus on long-term strategies like the DIP program, which we've highlighted in the past. If we are looking for some short-term support, there should be some just under 24 cents, and resistance where we had support at about 30 cents. But absent some Hedera-specific news, HBAR will really be looking toward the rest of the crypto market for direction. That all said, there's one thing we can always depend on: Hedera's fundamentals. The Hedera network is going to keep growing, and there will be plenty of positive news regardless of what the rest of the crypto market does. And at some point, it might catch the rest of the market completely off guard. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe if you appreciate these regular updates.